Okay, so now that we finally finished setting up our employee, right? So now the next thing is we're going to be moving on to the next section for the purpose of setting up our taxes. So, of course, when you have all this information, you should do your research and make sure that you're paying the correct agencies for this particular purpose. Now, most government agencies nowadays, instead of writing them a check to make payments for whether it's your federal income tax or whether it's your payment to the FICA, they are actually allowing the electronics funds transfers to go through because it's just much more quicker and it's much more easier to schedule, and it's automatically taken away from your bank and it automatically gets into the government's money. So they've already moved on to the new age where they're doing everything electronically. So with that being said, let's go ahead and set up our taxes. And here we are on the welcome to the taxes portion of setting up. So let's go ahead and set up. So we're going to go click that continue button. So as you can see, we have a list of all of these taxes that we are required to pay. So let's go take a look at them. We have to, not as a company, but of your employee has to pay for their federal withholdings. All right. We have advanced earnings income, so I don't know what that is particularly, but we have to pay as a company the federal unemployment. We have to pay state unemployment, which in this case they don't list it here. We have to pay medical. Okay. We also have to pay Social Security, okay, and so on and so forth. So now that we had those listed items here, let's see if it matches our book that we have a total of all of those things. So 2, 4, 6, 8 items that we should be looking at, and we have 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so good. So now the first thing it's going to say is you got to go ahead and fill in or edit your first one, because what we're going to be taking a look at is we need to adjust certain things, and we're going to link them to particular agencies that we need to make payments to. So let's go ahead and start on the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and click that first one here for the federal income tax withholdings. So of course it is an active thing right here, and we're gonna go ahead and click finish. So in this case, we don't need to fix that one. The one that we have to actually fix is going to be the I believe it's going to be the federal unemployment. That's the first one that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so for this one, usually it's supposed to go in a line. You're supposed to be able to click next, and it jumps on to the next one. But in this case, I don't know why it's not doing it for me. All right, so federal unemployment. Okay, here it is. So I have to set up the accounts and the rates on this. Okay, so first things first, we're going to call it federal unemployment. That's fine. It's an active item, and the payroll for this one item is going to be payroll expense, but in this case it's supposed to be okay, it's not letting me click on them, so I guess these are set. I don't know why it's not letting me change them, but let's go ahead and click finish. Where is my percentage that I have to place my information in? That is so weird. Let me see what happens if I click continue, because let me see. It might be if I click continue, that's where, there you go. I have to click continue. So here you go. Now I have to take a look at all of my information here for my California stuff. So the first one I have here is to set the percentage level here. So in this case, I have to set up my tax to be 3.4%. In this case, I have to enter a percentage. So 3.4% is what I'm going to be placing here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go ahead and click next. So now it's going to be setting up my payments for my agencies. Who am I going to make a payment to? So I'm going to click finish. So now I need to set up who I'm going to make payments to. So I'm going to click continue. Okay, wait. So now here's the federal 940. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and click on my person I'm going to pay. So the first federal ones are going to be using the EFTPS, okay, which stands for the Electronic Funds Transfer. Oh shoot, I don't know what the P stands for.
Electronic Federal Tax Payment System.
There you go, Federal Tax Payment System. Yes. Okay, so thank you for that. So yes, so the first one is for all the federal ones. So all the 490 and the 491, you're all gonna make payments to the TPS. Okay, and in this case, it gives you options for you to choose. Are you going to pay them on a quarterly basis, or are you going to pay them on an annual basis? In this case, this is my federal tax withholdings, all right? And I'm going to say I'm going to pay them quarterly. All right, rule of thumb, you have to assign specific times when you can do it, and it's required every single quarterly. So make sure that you have enough money to go ahead and make payments to them. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. So now I'm dealing with the federal 941 tax. And again, same agency. I'm going to, not to the U.S. Treasury, it's going to be the EFTPS. Okay. And how often am I going to pay them? In this case, I have a variety I can choose. Now, you definitely want to kind of go on a similar type of, system where if you know every quarterly you need to pay everything, that's going to be most beneficial to you. You don't want to have too many things set on different schedules, because then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. This week I have to pay my federal state, or my state state unemployment, and then I have to pay my state taxes, and then this week I have to pay that. So you generally want to kind of place them all on the same general kind of payment plan or payment periods. So in this case, I'm gonna try to make them all quarterly as possible. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click next. So now is going to be dealing with the state. Okay, and in this case, it already automatically filled it in for me that the EDD. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and also make this quarterly as well. I'm going to pay them every quarterly. Now, these agencies right here, EDD and the EFTPS, those are preset agencies that I've already entered in my vendors section. So as you can see, if you go down to the drop-down menu, it gives you the options of the vendors that you're making payments to. Am I making a payment to Merrill Lynch? Am I paying et cetera, et cetera. Now, these are not standardized. You need to look up these agencies to make sure that you ensure that the payments are going through. And of course, when you set up these agencies, they're going to have an account number. All right, so you have to make sure that you send them to the correct account number, or else it will not work. All right, so these are preset. They're already in the books already, and all we're doing is we're just acknowledging that we're making payments to this agency right here. Okay. So again, if you are planning to do business, make sure you do your research well, and you ensure that you're paying whoever it is, right? Maybe I pay to the Nevada, the Department of Employment and Training and Resources, the DETR. Make sure if you're going to make a payment to them, you make a payment to them. And for the Nevada state, maybe it's up in Reno. I don't know. So make sure that you know the exact people that you are going to make payments to. Okay.
Okay.
So here we have same thing here, the EDD. Is there an account number for the EDD? I believe
They
so.
have 123 dash 45678 or dash 8.
Okay, so here's the account number. All right. Let me go back a previous one just to ensure that I filled out the other one. So the other one didn't have one. So this one has it. Okay. So again, EDD 12345, and we're making quarterly payments. Okay. And then I should, same thing here. You're going to make a payment to the EDD. Same thing, 123 45678. And this time you do, I want to make quarterly payments. That's the only option you have to do. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and click finish. So I went through every single tax that I have to make a payment to. So all my federal income tax withholdings, right? My 1090, I'm going to go through there. I'm sorry, my 1090. 940. All your 941s is your Medicare and Social Security. Okay. Whereas your California, I'm not quite too familiar with the disability or the employment training portion, but you, for whatever agencies that you need to pay, you pay. All right.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So that's just setting up the payments to those taxes. And we are set up all the taxes that are subject to be withheld. And that's it. See, taxes went by so quick. And guess what? Year to date, we're assuming that we are starting payroll as of today. Or in this case, we started our business today, so that's it. We're not going to skip this section. So for any reason that you are in the middle of a pay period or you are using QuickBooks and you've already been using some sort of payroll system in the middle of your fiscal year, you're going to have to enter in any year-to-date information, such as year-to-date medical, your Medicare that you've so far accumulated. You also need to enter in how much tax you've withheld so far, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that is, we're going to go ahead and actually skip this section because, again, this we're assuming that we're starting payroll system for the very first time. Okay, so the question is, has your company used paychecks this year? In this case, we're going to say no. Okay, so that means we're going to completely skip over the year-to-date information. So then you're going to get this little window, and we could go ahead and click on finish. So this is it. That's why I said the first two sections are going to be the most heavily weighted ones, I guess, or the most time consuming ones. But taxes is pretty straightforward. All you have to make sure is if you don't have the existing agency, make sure that's the first thing that you do first before doing this, so then it goes by a lot quicker. But you can always enter in an agency at time of when you're answering the question. It's just then you have to pull the information in and yada, yada, yada. So now that I'm here, I can now finally open my Pay Employee Center. So this is what it's going to look like. Again, you have your first employee, which is Miss McKinney Reynolds. So if I go ahead and click on her, I get their little information here. And of course, down here below is going to be any paychecks that I've written out to her. And in this case, we're assuming that we're using payroll for the first time. Now, tomorrow, I'll go ahead and talk about what happens when I need to do a manual payroll. It should have been done today, but again, tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at using the payroll services. So we're going to be taking a look at both sections, doing manual, and we're going to be looking at using the payroll services. So you can, pick which one works best for you. Okay? So with that being said, now that we're here at the Employee Center, this, just like I said, mentioned before, this is where all your transactions that dealing with your employees are going to be. So if we go up at the top, you can choose to enter in the time, right, for the timesheets. You can manage employees. So this is what I'm going to talk about next. But here you can also enter in your employees. Pretty straightforward, right? Your employees don't have very much transactions. The only transaction you have for them is to enter time and to pay them. That's pretty much it. So that's why there is no new transactions list there, because like I said, the only transaction you have is to pay them and then for them to enter your time. So again, here I already selected the new employee. So again, when you tap on new employees, you can only enter in one at a time. They don't give you the ability to enter in as many. They don't let you enter in a list. You're gonna have to do it one at a time. Okay. Now, here's a cool thing that you can do that QuickBooks offers this to be. So now that we have our first employee, right? If the next 20 employees that we're going to enter in, right? Every time we enter in a new employee, right? We have to enter in all their information. We have to enter in how often we pay them, et cetera, what benefits that they can claim from us. So payroll information, right? What benefits they can claim from us, and any additional information. All right, but because we are given this extra instead of having to enter all those in for every single employee, we can save a little time by setting employee defaults, which is the next part that I'm going to be talking to you about.
Okay.
So setting up employee defaults is pretty straightforward. So if I go to manage employees and I click on change new employee / default settings, and I click on that, I get this little window here. So this is to help you save time for entering in. Every time you enter in a new employee, it will help you fill the information for you. So for example, right, my pay period, if I know what my pay period schedule is going to be like, I can set them all to be on the same exact schedule. So let's say for this one, I'm going to say I do it pay schedule. Let's see. I think I'm going to skip that. So then the next one's going to be pay frequency, which is bi-weekly. So I can set this so on every time I open up or enter in a new employee, it can set this automatically. So in this case, I want it to be bi-weekly, okay? And you can even set classes if you like, right? Which location do they work in? Do they work in the Walnut Creek location or the San Jose? In this case, I don't care. They're not going to be in any of them, okay? So payroll schedule is something I'm going to have to talk to you about because it doesn't belong in this chapter. It's something that you see in chapter 11. So the payroll schedule, that's why I didn't mention anything there, but you want to make sure that you're going to have to leave this part blank, all right? Other things that you can do here is earnings. So if you're going to be entering, every single person that's going to be entering in here, they're going to be hourly, can't even type in H, hourly regular, right? The next time I enter in a new employee, they're all going to be hourly, okay? And then do they have an hourly wage? Again, every employee, right? You can't treat them all the same. So that's exactly why you have to enter them in one at a time, because not every employee is going to be the same. They're going to all have different pay rates. They're all going to be on different pay schedules, whatever it is, right? In this case, I'm going to leave this blank because maybe Mike, he's been working there for so long, he's earning $16 an hour. Okay, whereas someone who's a fresh person that's just working, I'm gonna start them off at minimum wage, which is like what, $14, $12?
Yeah.
Well, in California,
no idea.
Yeah, I know here in Nevada they're pushing for $10.
Right.
as the
It's
minimum.
supposed to be an hourly, a dollar above the hourly prevailing wage, something like that.
Yeah, because like right now it's currently well, first it was for a long time $8.25 each, 20 cents for the minimum wage. Then with the pandemic, they increased it to $9.25. Now it's one more dollar, so it's gonna be $10. So whatever's going on with them, make sure that you know what the minimum wage is, because unfortunately you have to also make sure that you follow those guidelines. Okay,
Hmm.
there are some rules and exceptions. So people who get tips and you count them as towards your income, they can be below the minimum wage because they have a secondary kind of income flowing in, right? Their income is based on tips. So you can, if that's counted as part of your income, you can actually have the person be set below the minimum wage, which is cool. I did not know that. I did not know that. So, I mean, I guess it's not that cool, but anyways. So the next person I'm going to set in here is going to be a hourly wage. All right. And what benefits can they have in regards to this? So if you remember, they too can get um, hourly vacation. Okay, I don't know why it's not working my items. They can get hourly vacation. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh shoot. This is yeah, they get a 401k plan. They get the medical and they get the match. Okay. And again, it's going to be 4% of their paycheck or 2%, and we match 2%. And then, of course, the medical is going to be standing at $100 per paycheck. It doesn't matter whether you are a part time worker, hourly worker, or well, obviously, this is meant for full time employees. If they're part time, then I'm not going to offer it them at all. But yes, and there is no maximum limit for how much you can contribute to your own insurance. Okay, so again, if you've done this and you want to validate your sick pay and whatnot, you could go ahead and click this button here and say, hey, maybe I want to set everybody to have 80 beginning of the year they should have 80. Okay, they can only have 80 for my hourly wage people because I need them more. But for salary, they can have up to 200. Okay, maximum number of hours. So again, 80 for my hourly regular. Okay, for my salary, they get up to 200. All right, so these are just making sure that we've set any other information. So vacation. Oh, we don't have sick pay. I just forgot about that. We don't have sick pay. So I can't enter this in here. This is only vacation pay. So for vacation pay, beginning of the year, okay, I'm going to say that they have so far accrued at the beginning of the year, they have 0. Oh, okay, that's what I meant. All right, and then it says right here, maximum number of hours that they can accumulate. We said 80 for only our hourly people. Okay, and then again, that's it. Reset each new year. Yes, right. So they get 80 every year. All right, and then that looks good enough, and I'm gonna click OK. So if I look this and then I say that I think that everything looks okay, I'm gonna go ahead and press OK. Now, the next time I press in my new employee, right, if I were to go ahead and place Mr. Mike Mazowski in here, right, I can do that, right? So this example here, so legal name is, I'm going to say it's Michael, okay? Oh, never mind. That doesn't go there. First name is Michael. Michael Mazowski. I don't know how to spell that, but let's just guess. Mizowski. Ki? Zuki? Mazuki? I don't know. Anyways, That's his name. All right. And then print on the paycheck must say Michael Mazowski. But of course, I can say what I like to call him is Mike Mazowski. So social security number, we can make that up. It could be I don't know, 45655 134 1234. All right. Gender, again, he's male. Date of birth, we can say he was born May 25th. Okay, you make sure you use the calendar. Here I typed it in, but since I did that, I'm gonna say May. Let's see what year. Let's say he's born 1974. He's 1 year younger than Katie. So here I can double click it there. All right, and then marital status, I'm going to say he's single. U.S. citizen, yes. And then it says ethnicity, you can choose to do this. You don't have to. Okay, so now that I've entered this information, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I fill out everything else. And then check it out. If I go to my payroll options, boom, we get paid bi-weekly. He's an hourly regular, and I have my benefits aligned right there. And where's my vacation pay? Huh, my vacation pay didn't show up. Okay, well, we can also enter in here too. All right, he's gonna get hours available for my vacation. Where's vacation? Vacation hours available.
Down
Yep. I see it. So, hours available as of this. So that means available. That means he has 80 hours available. All right. Numbers of hours used, 0. And it's going to, for the current period, yes, beginning of the year. Hours accrued at the beginning of the year. Okay. Maximum, I'm okay here. So let's go ahead and click OK. So, okay, I guess it doesn't show up on this. It's supposed to show up on this. But anyways, we set it up for him already. So the next time we look at it, it should appear. And yes, so because we set the defaults, right? That means it helps us save us some time to go ahead and enter in all this information. All right. However, anybody that you've done previously. So when we did that, when we were working on when we were entering in our employees through the employee interview, right? If you just stopped at Katie, then the rest we have to do it manually, right? But you could have set up all your employees right there at that very window if you really wanted to. Remember, you have that little bottom section that says either you continue or you can add a new employee. Now, if you did not set your employee defaults, that means every single time you enter in a new employee, you're going to have to enter in all that information. So the purpose of setting employee defaults is that when you do the next person or when you enter in a new employee, it's going to automatically help you fill in the information for you. So it sets it up so that it makes it quicker for you to fill in the information, of course. But of course, like we have to also, you can change the employee settings at any given time. So let's say I'm done putting in my hourly people. Now I'm going to be putting in my salary people. Then you can do that as well. You can say salary. So this is going to be salary. Okay, salary regular, right? All of this is the same. But this time they're on a semi-monthly form. And I click OK. So that means the next time I put someone in here, it's going to be setting up my payroll period as semi-monthly and their salary. Okay. So again, setting up employee defaults only makes it that much easier and quicker to fill out your forms a lot quicker. That's all that there is. All right. Any questions in regards to that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. This one's pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's how you set up your employees. Okay. All right, last section I have for you is to go ahead and look at the payroll services, okay? This is an introduction to to chapter 11. So I'm going to go ahead and, no. I almost closed out the entire program. I just want to close out that. Okay, so the next part I'm going to talk to you about is it going to be it's going to be like an introduction to chapter 11. Okay, so tomorrow what we're going to be looking at is how to utilize the QuickBooks, or I guess Intuit's payroll system. Okay, so
Okay.
before even doing that, right, in the beginning of your chapter 11, it's going to give you a little synopsis on what payroll services are available, and it tells you check the website out to learn more about it. If you click this little button here where it says turn on payroll, here is what I was talking to you about. When you click on this, it's going on the internet. This is where it's asking you to choose a payroll service. So this is where the difference between manual and automated payroll services come from. So manual is where we actually have to calculate the percentages. We have to physically do this. We have to physically enter in all the information. In this automated payroll services, it does it for you automatically. Okay? All you have to do is click on pay the person, validate what information they have, and then it does the calculation all for you.
Nice.
So that's what's cool about that. Now I have this little window that says, "Hey, you want to chat with a Intuit person right now?" No, I'm not interested. But of course, I can't exit out of this. So of course, so knowing these things here, it really depends on how big your company is and if you are willing to use an Intuit payroll services. Now, Intuit or QuickBooks, right? They try to make it as easy and seamlessly as possible to do every single business transaction in one application. But of course, you have to pay for those extra services because this is a monthly subscription. It's not like you pay for it and that's it. It's a monthly subscription because what they do for you on their end is they have actual real accountants that are payroll, like their department is payroll, and they're doing the calculations for you. Okay, and they're the ones that's setting up everything for you. So they're the ones that looking up the tax information, etc., and they're the one that's updating it for you. So every time you update your QuickBooks, right, essentially it's already been done for you. Okay. So again, each payroll services is going to depend on how big your company is, but it's also on how much you want to do. So in this case, we'll talk briefly about it tomorrow. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But I just want to let you know that for me, as of 2019, there is one difference here, and that's going to be the assisted. All right. In 2018, you have the basic, you have the enhanced, and you have what's called full service. Okay. Full service and assisted are the same thing. I don't know why they decided to change it. It makes no difference, but that's what it is. Okay. So in my case, it's assisted, but in your case, it's full service. All right. So again, it gives you a little background on what each one entails. Again, basic is very basic. They're just only they're only calculating the payroll for you. Whereas if you have enhanced, they do the filing. So we'll talk about what that means when we dive into taking a look at a sample file of what it's like to use Intuit's payroll services. And trust me, it is so much more easier. Now, What you can do too is if you choose not to use Intuit because maybe their services is too expensive or whatever for whatever reason, right? Maybe I rather pay the bank to do the payroll services for me, or some agency that does payroll or that does payroll.
Yeah,
I
like
can
ADP, something like that.
yes. I can outsource at any given time. All I have to do is take that information and manually update my QuickBooks so then my my stuff matches. All right. But when I do it like manually, what I mean is like if you're gonna enter, let's say I made a payment to my uh, my employees, right? That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to make sure I enter in that I wrote a check to my employees. It's not going to deal with anything that I owe, not going to deal with anything because I'm not going to leave my whole entire payroll section untouched. Okay? But if you want to do manual payroll, which I'll show you tomorrow, then that's a completely separate thing. And we'll show you about that. But if you choose the automatic way, whether you're using Intuit or whether you're using an outsourced payroll service, you're going to have to manually update your checking account to make sure that QuickBooks matches your books as well. Okay.
Okay.
So again, each one's going to be, so you have the basic, you have the enhanced, and you have full service. And again, full service is going to provide you a lot more services in regards to, taking your QuickBooks file and pulling in all the information. So when you file your taxes, it can produce the W-2 forms for you. And that's really cool, right? Instead of having to, pay someone else to do it for you, it will provide you not only the forms for you to submit to the federal government, it also produces the W-2 forms for your employees as well. Okay, just a little fun fact here if you choose to use those services. And again, it's just a lot more easier to just get everything done in one program. But if you don't know, the QuickBooks program itself, just buying it by itself, that's already $400 right there. And if you're going to have to pay a monthly subscription of another $43 or another $45, that's already a lot. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to show you, that when we dive into chapter 11, we're going to be taking a look at a standpoint of using one of the Intuit's payroll services programs. All right, so tomorrow we're going to be looking at a sample file. All right, so any questions in regards to chapter 10?
No, everything is follow it.
Yes.
Just follow it straight through.
Yes, and of course, not everything's going to be identical because it really depends on your company, right? Do you even offer these things? But this is how you set it up for the intentions of doing manual payroll. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so let's go ahead and go over the review questions. All right. So, question number 1. Okay. An easy and convenient way to process payroll in QuickBooks for employees on different payroll schedules would be, which this was actually one of the things I was supposed to talk about.
This is one of the things you were supposed to talk about?
Yes. So go ahead and take a guess if you don't know.
You don't want to make them all independent contractors.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm thinking out loud.
No worries.
All employees a single schedule. No, because we don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to outsource. No, I'm going to say B.
B is the correct answer. So this is what I was talking to you about. So I think I vaguely went over it. So remember when we were looking at that window where it says payroll schedule?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't access that because you don't have the payroll services. So what that really entails is that when you're using the payroll scheduler, and we'll take a look at it in chapter 11, when you have the payroll services, you're going to have a window where you can schedule your payroll your when to do payroll. Because if you don't have to have everyone on the same pay schedule. You can have your hourly regular to be on a bi-weekly, because usually, rule of thumb, it's either their weekly or bi-weekly. And your salary is usually always on the 15th and the 30th. So they're going to be semi-monthly. So instead of keeping track of who you need to make a payment to, you're going to utilize what's called the payroll scheduler, which exists in the payroll services. So I don't know why they mentioned it here in chapter 10, because you don't have access to it, which is you have to have the payroll service in order to have the payroll scheduler. So the payroll scheduler, I'm going to talk more in depth tomorrow, and to show you where it's located and how to how to use it's pretty straightforward, right? You just click on it and say paste it. It should automatically recognize that this person needs to get paid. So we'll look into it tomorrow. But B is the correct answer, right? A, you don't need to move all your employees under a single pay schedule, right? You can, but I mean, that's exactly why QuickBooks created the payroll scheduler, so then you don't have to put them all on the same schedule. I know for a fact that for A, like if you're doing manual payroll, I think that's the best way to make sure that you pay all your employees and don't have to think about who you didn't pay, or maybe your biweekly. They could be paid in the beginning of the month. They could be paid at the end of the month. If you have it all on one schedule, it just makes it more easier to do. Okay, but that's again for manual payroll. But again, QuickBooks created a payroll scheduler for that. And of course, you wouldn't outsource, obviously. That's not that. Yes, you can outsource, but that you shouldn't do that. That's not technically the correct way to do it. And then again, you don't want to make your employees all independent contractors, because there are rules and guidelines on that. Either way, even if you put them all as independent contractors, you still gotta pay them as an expense regardless. So, if they have to send you a bill to remind them that you have to pay them, then so be it. Okay. All right, number 2, which of the following payroll periods is not an option in QuickBooks?
No, we saw the bi-weekly and the quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say semi-annually.
All right, so in this case...
Daily, yeah.
All right, in this case, I disagree for question number 2.
Yeah.
But you are right for the payroll periods.
We saw annual, but I don't recall seeing semi-annually.
Yes, there is annually, there is daily, there is biweekly, and there is quarterly. So yes, all those are going to be available. Now, of course, this is talking about making payments to your agencies. I would say C would be the more likely one, but yes, we did see that option available that you can do that. But remember, semi-annually, right? Every 6 months, really? Of course, it's not going to be an option. Okay, but it is, we went over this. It can be an option. It's just in QuickBooks they don't recognize that. But for some reason, instead of being paid every 6 months, you can get paid every year. So that's why I don't know why they accepted annually. But in this case, you're right. Semi-annually is not one of the options. Okay. All right. Which payroll item cannot be created in the payroll services interview?
You can create all of those. That's D.
Yes, you can create all of them.
Or you can leave it alone until later.
Yes, you can. That's right. You don't have to create them now. You can always, again, if you can afford to pay for it, then do it now while you have it. But if you don't, you can always click on that payroll list item, right? And just create a new item. Not hard. Not hard at all. So D, yes, you can create every single one of them, and every single one during the interview, you have the option to either add, edit, or delete. Okay, so good. You can create all of them. Number 4, which is not an option when setting the accrual period for sick and vacation time. So this one's a very specific one. I don't know why they asked this, but go ahead and guess.
My best guess is you wouldn't do it every hour.
You every hour. You said
It's not an option.
D. Yes. You wouldn't do it every hour, obviously.
That's way too much accounting to be going on.
Exactly. And on top of that, it's like, why would you reset or set to accrue sick vacation pay every hour? Just do it. You just reset it at the beginning of the year. Why would you reset it every hour? You would reset it by the beginning of the year. You could do it every month. Okay, so there are monthly things that you can do. So maybe every month you can give you could call in sick or do a vacation for every three times a month or 3 hours a month. You could do every paycheck. Yes, you can. Every paycheck. Yes. So if you are trying to accrue any sick or vacation pay, yes, you can include that every paycheck. And every hour is correct. And then lastly, number 5, the payroll setup interview will not allow you to.
You can set the pay rate.
Yes, you can.
Deductions. You can do deductions.
Mm-hmm.
Default. So it's got to be D then. Because you can't have two people with the same name. You'd have to show a middle initial or something.
That's correct. That is correct. So again, either a middle initial, their full name, their legal name, whatever. If they have the exact identical legal name, first, middle, and last, like if it's John F. Smith, and the other guy is also John F. Smith, right? You're going to have to make some kind of tweaking to them so you can know who is who, right? QuickBooks, they only recognize the name. They don't recognize the details that are attached to the name. So my John F. Smith number 1, his social security is obviously different, but QuickBooks will not recognize it. It only recognizes names. Okay? So D is the correct answer. All right. So looking at the time, it is now 4:15. Again, if we do any examples, it's just pretty much entering in employees. So again, that's pretty straightforward. I don't think we should do this because again, you're just entering in more people. So as far as that, I'm going to say let's call it a day. Tomorrow we're going to do chapter 11. Again, I'm going to show you how to do the automated payroll system. And if we have some